Hello, I'm Roger Armstrong, and I was a psychic child born in 1930. And these are my stories of my training and my development of my psychic powers. Even though my high school counselors and teachers didn't think I could do it, I did go to college. Now, in Ohio, being a state school, if you went to a state school, they had to accept anybody. So I went to Miami of Ohio in Oxford, Ohio. And I majored in art and art education. And I did rather well. I got A's in the courses I liked. I got D's in the courses I didn't like. My counselors didn't quite know how to work that out. Now, the Korean War was going on at this time. And you'd go to class, and there'd be an empty seat next to you. And you go the next day, on the other side, there'd be another empty seat. And these guys were being drafted. And I got very concerned about that, because with my spotty record, I could see where I well might be drafted. So I talked it over with my guardian and some past life warriors that I had been. There was one Roman soldier I particularly liked. And we decided that I would be better off if I enlisted, because as regular Army, I would get a little bit better treatment than a draftee would get. And they were right. And they were right. So I did. Now, the Army, like my Roman soldier friend said, never changes. And the first thing they want you to do is to obey orders without question. And they want you to be in excellent physical condition. Now, as regular Army, though, I was given a group of men to work with. It was the second week of basic training, and these were the men that no one wanted. So I got them all. There were 12 of them. They ranged in height from 6'5" to 5'2". Their ages were from 14 to 25. Out of the 12, only 2 could read and write. These were high mountain hunters and farmers. These were mountain men. Now, in getting to know them, I told them about my experiences on the farm. And we had an outhouse, and they had an outhouse. We had a wood stove, they had a wood stove. So they found that we had a lot in common. And then I mentioned that I could talk to animals. And they were astonished, because they could too. They were raised with dogs and other animals. They'd never been to school. They had never been with words very much, so they did everything with pictures, just like I was able to do. So we had instant communication together, and we practiced it. So we could talk to each other just by using our minds, by sending either a still picture or a little film clip. So during boring Army lectures, I taught them how to read. A is for apple, B is for bear. In the evenings then, we would communicate, and on their bunks they would practice writing. And I taught them how to write their name instead of an X on payday. They actually learned to write their name, and they were so proud of that. Now, during the time we were together, they were able to read and write on the 3rd grade level. And they were all excited about that. They liked our mind pictures because that was a secret. We had a secret language that no one else had. So they could cuss and make ribald pictures about the people that were giving lectures, and we'd have a hard time not laughing at some of the things we'd say to each other, and no one else could hear. One of the problems as a soldier, though, was you had to march. And with Slim, yeah, the 6'5" guy, and Shorty, yeah, the 5'2" guy, you get them marching together and you have a hard time. So they just couldn't march together. But I learned that we could dog trot or double time and take little steps. And we all could do that. So we double time everywhere. It was interesting. When we started our training, they were real handy at wrestling. So when it came to the judo and that kind of stuff, they really could do it. And we won a ribbon. Marksmanship, at 100 yards, they could hit 10 out of 10, and the spacing, you could cover it all with a silver dollar. They were upset because I got 8 out of 10, and a number of my shots were on the edges of the bullseye. So they taught me how to shoot and adjusted my rifle so that it was accurate. When it came to field exercises, they were astonishing. They could go through the woods like smoke. We would go in a inverted V formation, the tips of the wings to the right and to the left, about 50 yards apart. 8 to 10 yard intervals between us, with me at the bottom of the V. They said if I was there, that I would have more control over what was happening. I think they put me there so I'd be out of the way. I'm Roger Armstrong, and I was a psychic child, and these are the stories in my Army time. And in the next segment video, we'll continue the Army time stories.